something I haven't talked about very much on my channel, and I feel like the Lord is telling me that it's time. I'm currently pregnant with my third baby, and even though I only developed preeclampsia in my first pregnancy, it is something that has never really left me. Every appointment, every conversation with my doctor, every blood pressure check, and every headache brings me back to all of those memories. My hope for this video is that you feel less alone if you are afraid of preeclampsia, if you're in the middle of experiencing it, or if you've had it in previous pregnancies. To keep it brief, preeclampsia is a very serious medical condition that can happen starting after week 20 of pregnancy. It often involves high blood pressure and can affect many organs in the body. It can often be fatal if it is not dealt with promptly by doctors, and doctors know how to treat it, but there's still a lot of research being done on why it happens. This video isn't medical advice, it's simply my story. I developed preeclampsia with my first pregnancy. I was 17 when I became pregnant and 18 when I had my daughter. Throughout that pregnancy, I was often stressed. That is the word that if I could just put one word to that whole experience, stressed is the word that describes that pregnancy. At the time, I was in an unhealthy relationship. I was navigating college while not wanting to be there, and just overall felt terrible. One of my most painful memories from that time was always crying in the shower, looking down at my belly and apologizing to my daughter for not having the pregnancy and the life that I wanted to experience with her. While preeclampsia can start as soon as week 20 for women, it didn't start for me until week 34 when my family was celebrating Thanksgiving at my mom's house. From what I remember feeling just terrible that day. I had low energy, my body was hurting, and I had a massive headache that wouldn't go away. And if you know anything about preeclampsia, headaches are one of the main symptoms. But nobody in my family knew about it, and I did not do a good job paying attention to the pregnancy manual I was given at the OB office. I went on throughout this whole day ignoring the symptoms, being told by family, "You're probably just tired. Maybe you ate too much. You should just get some rest." And when I went to bed that night, I felt awful. And I woke up the next morning feeling even worse because my whole body was in such a deep pain. I did not know what was going on. Woke up, looked at my hands, noticed that they were swollen. My arms were swollen. My body felt heavy. I got up, went to the bathroom, flicked on the light, saw in the mirror me, but like puffy and big, looked down at my body, puffy and big, and that obviously caused some concern because I have never been that way, ever. We called the advice nurse and they told us to go to the hospital immediately. We rushed to the hospital, and upon arriving, I was rushed into labor and delivery. I remember seeing the look of worry on all of the faces around me. My mom, my daughter's biological dad, the doctor, the nurses, and seeing the blood pressure monitor make that beeping sound go off. I was given shots, and the doctor and the nurses using code words to talk to each other for what was going on and what was going to happen next. I was told that I was near the point of having a seizure and dying and losing my daughter, and that we were going to have this baby today. After that, the only memory I have really is just releasing control. I knew that in that moment there was nothing that I knew enough to do to fix it. I just had to trust that the doctor knew what they were doing, that the nurses knew what they were doing, and that everything was going to be okay the way that I was being told, that they were handling it the best they could. I remember getting a lot of reassurance from the nurses, like, "You came in at such a good time. I'm so glad that you took these symptoms seriously." But it was scary. I was induced and the contractions began, got to go through the whole experience, had my daughter vaginally, But just as soon as she was placed on my chest, she was taken away to be monitored and sent to the NICU. I'm very blessed to have gotten to be in the hospital at the same time my daughter was in the NICU. We were only at the hospital for 1 week. The doctors and nurses needed to monitor me and my preeclampsia symptoms, and the hospital I gave birth at also has a NICU like 1 or 2 floors above the what's it called, maternity ward, like the area where you're recovering postpartum. I got to visit my daughter every single day and night. The NICU nurses, I will never forget them because they were so sweet and helpful. I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't figure out how to swaddle my daughter, and I just felt helpless. I felt helpless, and the nurses understood. They helped me swaddle my daughter, change her, helped me with the bottle and breastfeeding after she was able to have the tube taken out of her nose. And I just remember seeing all of the things just connected to her, and the beeping, the freaking beeping. I hate hearing the beeping at hospitals now because of that. Even if it's just a steady beep, like I hate listening to it. Hearing the beeping and being worried if it didn't beep. I remember seeing just everything connected to my daughter, and she was so small and skinny and helpless. But she was so strong. And looking back, I was pretty strong too, but I didn't feel that way. But she did great. And after a week of being in the hospital and her being in the NICU, we got to go home. Looking back, I think what stayed with me wasn't just the physical experience, but the fear. That experience of having preeclampsia has changed me forever. It's changed the way that I view pregnancy, postpartum, and motherhood. Learning that you can die from this, learning how close I was to dying from this, learning how it can happen even when you're postpartum, and how having preeclampsia in pregnancies can impact your heart health for the rest of your life. I have not done as well as I could have since then in having a much healthier lifestyle, but I definitely have made a lot of changes. My second time having a baby, or getting pregnant, I should say, I wasn't as fearful, but I was anxious. I was anxious for every little symptom, even before the 20-week mark. And I was even advised by my OB at the time during my second pregnancy to consider an abortion. I am so thankful for the social worker who was connected with me and made it possible for me to have a plan for my second pregnancy, to know what was within my control, and to act on that, to build a relationship with my OB and the nurses and the staff at the hospital every single time that I had to go in because of my blood pressure being high. Everybody was so understanding and nice. I'm very thankful that the hospital we go to has such an amazing team. But the fear, even without having developed preeclampsia in my second pregnancy, is still there. It's there in this pregnancy. Every time I have to check my blood pressure, every time that I experience a headache and it doesn't go away, every time that I am at the appointments and I'm reminded, you've had preeclampsia before, here are the symptoms we're looking out for, how are you doing? It has just never left me, and that's not something that I could have anticipated after having my first child. You want each of your pregnancies and birth experiences to be beautiful but when they're not, it can be hard to still appreciate the fact that you're here and you made it this far, and you do have a team that cares for you and is here to help you, because that fear speaks really loud. During my second pregnancy, I learned the importance of taking care of myself and being intentional, but also advocating for myself. Yes, it was annoying, all of the visits to the hospital. Yes, it was annoying calling an advice nurse several times a day because I was worried. But you know what is more annoying, or even worse than being annoying, is something going wrong because you weren't worried about it, because you ignored the symptoms. I could not handle the idea of ignoring things and letting it get bad again the way that it did the first time. And I'm so thankful that I listened to my body, and I'm so thankful that I had a great team, because now I have my son. He's healthy. I'm good for the most part. But that fear is loud. You can experience the trauma of things and grow from it and even heal from it, and the fear will still come back. And in those moments, I choose to acknowledge it, but I also acknowledge what is within my control today. Fear will make you ask questions, and these questions don't have to always have any truth really behind them. It's just the way that fear speaks. It's the questions that it asks. It's the things that it wonders, and it can be loud when it pops up. And when it pops up, I acknowledge it. I acknowledge it for what it is, but then I move on, because I'd rather be aware of the fear than obsess over what it tells me. I've learned that there's a difference in being aware versus living afraid. Every time that your doctors bring up preeclampsia, they want you to be aware of the symptoms because they want to help you. Fear just wants you to obsess over the things that you can't control. Learning to know the difference between the two has helped me a lot. If you're scared, I understand, because it is scary. Preeclampsia is scary, and it's not something to be taken lightly. But remember that being scared is not the same as being powerless. You still have the ability to go to appointments, to contact your doctors, to talk with your community, to create a plan of action if things were to go that way. And if they have, again, you are able to go to your appointments, talk to your doctors, and work with your community. And do not stop advocating for yourself, because if something feels wrong, you need to listen to that. Lean into that, not in a fearful way, but in a way, this is a tongue twister, in a way that you are aware and knowing what's going on and knowing what is within your control, and then moment by moment you take it, so that hour by hour and day by day you get through. Fear is the worship of what is outside of your control. God did not give you a spirit of fear. Lean into the truth of what is today. If you are good today for the most part and you're doing what you can, you're good. If more develops, you know who to reach out to, you know what to do. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. And don't be afraid to lean on God, to lean on the doctors, to lean on your community, and to lean on the strength that you have. For me, when the fear pops up, it keeps asking me to imagine every possible situation that I can't control. The same fear, the same thing that it wants me to obsess over, can come up once a day, multiple times a day, every single day in a week. But I do the same thing. I acknowledge the fear, and then I move on by looking at where I am today and what I can do in this moment. If you are experiencing or have experienced preeclampsia, I would love to read your story in the comments, as I'm sure many other moms would love to as well. It's good to know and to be reminded of the fact that there are others who understand what you're going through or have gone through, and it's so nice, I have found, when I can read someone's story and see that it's not too far off from my own, or maybe they recognize the symptom or try some sort of tip or lifestyle change that helped them, and I can implement that too. It helps me and it'll help you feel more empowered as we go on through this experience and as we heal and continue to grow as mothers. I know that this video is very different from the vlogs that I've been putting out, but I think it's good for us to not only just show the parts of our lives, that are happening in the everyday, but also to have conversations around topics that are vulnerable, maybe hard or controversial, because that's what creates room for getting to talk and getting to relate and getting to heal. I hope that this video has made you feel seen, given you an opportunity to explore your healing, but also to deepen your faith and your trust in God, your community, and in yourself. And I'll see you in the next one. With love.